Hello everybody, it's Dr. V. Welcome back to my channel. First of all, as always, I want to say thank you to all of you for your love and support, your comments, your shares, etc. I just love you all and thank you so much for being here and being a part of this journey and for allowing me to be a part of your journey. I also wanted to say, if you would like to purchase a private reading from me, the information on how to do that is in the description box below, or you can click on the cover art for my channel, and it will, in the bottom right corner, you will see the links to take you to my Instant Go, my scheduling software, as well as a link to my PayPal if you'd like to make an energy exchange donation. If you're looking for a quick answer, the best way to go is Instant Go. I usually get to those within about 24 hours, other than the weekends. Other than that, that's just about it. I have a number of different spreads on my website. You can check them out there, and I'd love to connect with you. By the way, I will be, I'm actually closing my schedule down for Fridays. I'm no longer taking appointments on Fridays. I have a book chapter due at the end of this month, and so Friday is going to be a writing day for me. So, yeah. Let's just jump right in. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come in be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego to the outside. Call upon my counsel, guides, higher wisdom, ancestors, ascended masters, archangels, to protect this space, protect this time, protect this energy and the messages that are coming through. May they serve to ascend the highest to the highest good for all of humanity and all those concerned. Thank you. Okie dokie. Let's just jump right in. So we're just gonna take a little peek as to what's going on with your love interest. See what's going on with their current energy, what their intentions are, what's going on in their head, their heart space, physical space, and so I'm just gonna jump right in. I'm using the Santa Muerte Tarot deck. Let me see if I can find the author or artist. It is, I don't know. Santa Muerte. Fabio Listrani, I think is who it is, but this is what the box looks like in case you're wondering. So let's just jump in. So what is your love interest current energy? This can be for anybody. If you are a twin flame, if you're divine feminine, divine masculine, a soulmate connection, this is literally for anybody who has a soul-based connection and you're wondering what the heck is going on. So what is the current energy of your counterpart? So we've got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Eight of Swords in reverse, and the Knight of Cups. So very interesting. So this Nine of Pentacles card is, Pentacles are material world, but Pentacles are things that are happening in the physical. So a lot of times it can be concerned with money, sure, but it's bigger than just money. It's about physical things. It can be things that are concerning in the home, so on and so forth. So in the reverse, it's like, it's the energy is almost like a sense of kind of being consumed with what they are pursuing or what they're working toward or what they're concerned with in the physical world. It's like it's almost like they're just on this track of just trying to get more and do more and expand more and get more money and do more things and so on and so forth. And then but of course that endless expansion is not good. We have to expand and constrict. We have to, it can't just be constant growth or constant, blowing up without taking a breather. So it almost feels like there's this sense of being overwhelmed with working so much and having put so much effort into the material world, into what's going on in their physical world, that they may even have just lost some of their focus on what they're trying to accomplish and what they're trying to do because they're so consumed with their material things. And then we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, which is, the Eight of Swords is, as you probably know, if you've listened to tarot a lot, is a mental prison. This is a card that in the traditional tarot, it's a person who is standing in a circle, bound up, unable to get free, and swords all around. So the Eight of Swords is a card of someone who's stuck. It's a mental prison. It feels like a prison. It does definitely feel like a prison, but it's a mental prison of your own making. in the reverse, it's saying that somebody is, the mental prison that they're caught up in is a prison that is really about guilt. It's about shame. It's about maybe feelings of obligation, maybe feelings of regret. So I almost get the sense that this, with all of this together, is like this person, the person that you're thinking of, has been really focusing on this kind of building their image. This can almost be like an ego energy, really, in reverse. It's somebody who is perhaps trying to keep up with the Joneses so that they can protect their ego from the decisions that they've made in the past that have caused harm. So it's almost like they're really trying to assuage their guilt, their pain, their regrets with outward appearances. So it's like, well, if I have the nicest house on the block, then maybe nobody will notice the emptiness in my soul kind of energy. And then we have this Eight of Swords in reverse, which is guilt, regret, so on and so forth. And then with the Knight of Cups, it's an interesting energy, because the Knight of Cups to me is always kind of somebody who's coming to extend like a love offer. It's almost like somebody who feels like this, like caught up with a new love or a new romance. And it's like, I feel like if they weren't so conflicted, they'd be coming to you with this love offer. But they're feeling kind of maybe romantic and feeling just these, they're having these thoughts and these feelings. Their current energy is like delving into some of those romantic ideas, those romantic thoughts. It's definitely like an offer of love, that it's almost like they want to come towards you with this offer of love, but they're not, because of these other energies. These other energies are really keeping them trapped. These two, what we would consider almost like more, darker energies or more negative energies, are really present right now. And that's kind of what's controlling the situation. It's kind of what's leading them, and it's preventing them from doing what they want. This is like a really romantic energy. This is somebody who really, it's like when they think, sorry, I got a phone call and it interrupted the reading. There is this energy that they are really wanting to bring this offer of love, extend this offer of love. They really are romantic. They really have these thoughts and, romantic connection towards you. But they're having a hard time articulating their feelings. This is a person who is just really having difficulty articulating what it is that they feel, what it is that they want. They're really in that space of feeling like wishing they could, almost really wishing they could come forward, and just not feeling like they can. So let's look at the next energy, which is, what is their intention for this connection? So we've got the Two of Wands in reverse, the Seven of Swords, wow, and the Nine of Swords. Is that a 9? Yeah, 9. It's hard to, these numbers are like, oh wait, actually that is a 6. 9, no. Shit, it's a 9, sorry. It's like Uno cards. If you're not sure which one's up, it's like, So we've got the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is passion. It's about passion, collaboration. This is an energy of people working together, working on a shared mission, shared goal. Now, in the reverse, it's not that. It's still, there is still some of that interest and that energy, that passionate new beginning kind of energy that comes with the beginning of the Suit of Wands. But in the reverse, it's about somebody feeling like somebody's not listening. So when I see this in the intention space, it's like, because it's like somebody's not listening, they're not able to get their message across, they're not feeling supported. It's like this to me can suggest a person who's an unreliable partner, somebody who you can't really count on. And it feels like that this could be the energy that they brought in the past, that they could have brought this energy of being unreliable. Maybe somebody who you couldn't really trust or couldn't really count on to keep their word or to do the things that they said they were going to do or to show up. Maybe it was like you would have agreements, we're going to do this and we're to move things forward, and then they would forget or they wouldn't do it. And I think this came through in an energy last week or maybe earlier this week around somebody that just was really unreliable, and it just feeling kind of like being left out in the cold because this person was not someone you could count on. And So it feels like they know that about themselves. They know that in the past they have not been that reliable. They haven't been someone that you could trust. They haven't been somebody that you felt that they felt like, or that you felt like that you could rely on. They understand that. It's like their higher self has kind of woken them up to the idea, to the realization that they haven't been super trustworthy or reliable. And it's, you know, it's one of those things that it's not a terrible thing, right? It's like we all grow. We all have a path. And so them recognizing, you know, maybe I haven't been very reliable. Maybe I haven't been very trustworthy. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Let them grow. They can move through that energy. And it feels like they're aware of that. And their intention is to move out of that space. They don't want to be unreliable anymore. They don't want to be somebody that's going to let you down. They don't want to be somebody that is going to be like, well, you know, that you leave your interactions with them and you feel down instead of feeling up. That's not an energy that they're interested in anymore. And so we have this Seven of Swords card, which is interesting because it's like, it feels like the crisis that they have been experiencing, or that you've been experiencing together as a unit, is still here, but it's passing. Okay, so it's like this person is it says hope, right? Reflection. This is a person who is, they're waking up out of the coffin. This is a coming back to life. It's like opening up to new roads, opening up to new projects, just really opening up and seeing things in a different way, because they'd shut themselves off before. You know, if you look at this card, this is a person who's literally getting out of a coffin. This is a person who's coming back. They were closed off before. They couldn't see things before. They weren't clear. And now they're ready to come back. And it's not like, I mean, they're still sitting in a coffin, so it's not like they're fully back in the land of the living, but they're coming out. It's an energy of really starting to come out and starting to see like, okay, maybe I can do things a little bit differently. You know, this card in the traditional tarot is a card of somebody sneaking off. Okay, this is a card of somebody who has taken something that doesn't belong to them and has snuck off. But what I'm getting from this is that this person, the person who I'm reading for, the person who you're dealing with, has behaved in those ways in the past. The thief in the night, the kind of sneakiness, not being reliable, so on and so forth. But now they're in this space of recognizing, like, you know, I haven't been the best version of myself through this. And so it's time to step up. It's time to really come out of this. And it's like they finally had this awakening. Something happened that kind of held a mirror to them, that they're starting to see themselves a little bit more accurately. So this is an interesting energy too, because we have the Seven of Swords here, and then we have the Nine of Swords. And this is, you know, what would look like the swords are piercing this person's skull. And so it's somebody who's really, what I get from this is really overthinking, very connected to their head, not so much thinking with, you know, experiencing life through their heart. It's like they're really trying to reason their way through a heart situation. You can't reason your way through love. You can't reason your way through soulful connections. You just can't. It's like, it's not that there isn't a space for reason, because there absolutely is. We have to be reasonable. We have to be rational. We can't just like run around being pulled around by our feelings and whatnot. But it's definitely important to engage all of that. It's important to listen to our bodies, our souls, our spirits, our intuition, our rational executive functioning, but not one at the expense of another. And so it feels like this is a person who's really trying to move through that energy. And so they're still mentally kind of feeling a little bit trapped, a little bit caught up. However, if they utilize this time of coming out of this coffin state and into this state, they'll be able to move through that energy. And because this is what is their intention, it really feels like their intention is to move through this energy, is to move out of this space where it's like they recognize, maybe I haven't been the best version of myself in this lifetime. Maybe there are some things that I need to do differently. And so they're moving into that space, really moving into that energy of their intention is to not be this person anymore. It's like they recognize that they can do better and they want to do better. So what is going on in their headspace? So we have the Tower in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. So I'm going to move all of this up so you can see it. Okay. So The Tower in reverse. The Tower is, I mean, to me, I've never been one to really resist the Tower. Kind of, if it comes, it comes, and that's just what it is. But the Tower it's a scary thing for a lot of people. It's like, a lot of people don't welcome change. It's like you feel it, you feel things need to come apart, you feel things need to change, and then people resist it. Okay, I've seen that so many times, where it's like you want to hold on to what you think for dear life. Well, what this is saying to me is that there is a Tower happening. Like, there is shit that's falling apart. I've been feeling this energy very, very strongly. I remember we talked about this over the summer, that there was going to be some major preparation and things would be happening, because I really feel like for a lot of people that there will be unions and reunions and reconnections that are happening throughout the end of the summer and into the fall and winter. This is, I really do feel that very clearly, that people are doing their work. The people who have done their work, because this isn't for everybody. If you're one of those people who hasn't done your work, and you haven't been doing what Spirit has been guiding you, and you haven't been following the steps that you've been guided to take, well then, things aren't going to change for you. I know that might sound a little bit harsh, and I don't mean it to, but that is the truth, is that things won't change if you're not changing. It's not like, sure, there are miracles. Absolutely, there are miracles, and things can happen in an instant. However, that's not the point of this journey. The point of this journey, if you're truly a twin flame and you're on this path, the point is about ascension. It's about rising above. It's about healing and personal transformation. That is the primary purpose of this connection: to ascend, to change the vibration on this planet, to shift the paradigms of how we think about things and how we see spirituality and love and connection. And you don't get there just by doing what you've always done, right? What's the saying? If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. So if you're still doing the same things that you did at the beginning of this journey, things aren't going to change for you. So I say all that to say that this is a person that this energy, what's going on in their head is that there are things that need to fall apart. And it's like they're aware of it. They're thinking about it. It's like they know that perhaps ways that they have been living their lives, decisions that they've made, choices that they've made, perspectives that they've taken, so on and so forth, those things, they're like, they recognize that it's not serving them anymore. They recognize it. They're conscious of it. They're like, well, maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to leave this job. Maybe I need to leave this relationship, whatever it is. But they're aware of it. They're thinking about it. They're just resisting it right now. And it's one of those things, I always get this with this message, not always, but this is coming through right now, that Spirit's kind of this is one of those, let go or be dragged. Things are gonna change. Things are gonna shift for this person, whether they like it or not. And that's just sometimes the way that Spirit works. If we resist change, if we don't give into it, if we fight it, sometimes things just have to happen to get our attention. And so that feels like what's happening. The person is resisting it right now, but they're aware that things need to change. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is someone who is really dedicated and working hard. This is a person who's really pushing their craft and learning things, and really trying to get into a space of building abundance, building wealth, getting some material stability. This is about, really, to me, this card is about getting some balance. This is a person who, it's like they're really understanding that as long as they're in this energy that they've been in, that they're resisting letting go, they're not going to be able to come into union and bring the balance that they need, that you need. This is things they're wanting to bring this. They're thinking of ways in which they can bring more balance to their life. And it feels like maybe things are feeling a little bit stable right now. Maybe they've achieved kind of a sense of equilibrium where things are happening. Things are kind of going okay right now. And they're hoping that is going to prevent this from happening, but it really feels like it's not as stable as they would like it to be, because an 8 is not quite as stable as we're like 10. There's still some progress that needs to happen, and there will be progress that happens as long as they can remain in balance, as long as they can get to the, not even remain, because they're not even in balance yet, but they're working toward it. This might be somebody who is incredibly disorganized in their day-to-day life, and they're working on things like putting together a schedule, or it could be somebody that has, neglected their physical body for such a long time because they've been doing other things, that now they're eating healthier, things like that. So it's definitely like they're in this pursuit. They're thinking of ways in which they can bring balance, because what they really want is this Two of Cups, this spiritual union. They want to be able to pour into this relationship, or a relationship that is soulful, that's loving, that's compassionate. And that's what they truly want. And I say this or because it's like, I don't want to give any, I'm not one to give false hope. That's just not something that I do. I don't believe in that. And so I don't want to say necessarily 110% that they want to come forward in this connection, but what they do want is that soulful connection. This is a spiritual union card. They want that spiritual connection. They don't want just somebody that they can like, like the physical hit and run, smash and dash kind of energy. They don't want that. They want someone that they connect with in a meaningful way. It's like once they connected with you, they understood what it meant to be like, to really be seen and to be felt by another person. And so now that they've had that, that's what they want. And that's their intention, is to create the kind of conditions that can foster that kind of connection, because they realize that the energy, that they're bringing right now definitely is not going to bring that. Like the energy that they brought into your connection, the energy they brought in the past is not something that's going to bring that. So what is in their heart space? So we've got the Six of Pentacles in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and the Five of Cups. So interesting. So I'm just noticing the Pentacles in reverse, just off the jump. It's like Pentacles are material. Again, it's things in the physical world. And so when we look at the Six of Pentacles in reverse, this is, this energy of, if you look at this card in the upright, it's a clock and it has the pendulum at the bottom. And it's like the pendulum swings and it, goes back and forth and it kind of marks time. So this is what the energy I'm getting from this is twofold. It's like, again, we're talking about balance. We're talking about someone who perhaps swings from one extreme to the other. They could go like, I love you, I want to be with you, I can't live without you. And then the next day they're like, not quite so sure, or they're questioning it. And so it's this sense of being, really I do get that. It's like the extremes. It's like this is a person in their heart space that they don't know how to stay in a space of just internal balance, where you can, deeply and passionately love somebody and let them be free. That you can be committed to somebody and let them have, and maintain your sense of independence and freedom. Those things all seem paradoxical to people. To be committed and let somebody have freedom is like, how does that work? How am I committed to somebody, or how can they be committed to me and yet still have complete and total freedom? And those are paradoxes. Those are things that people don't understand. And that's part of why we're here on this planet, on this journey, is to be able to teach people that love is not possession. That love is not about consuming another person, that it's literally about how the unconditional love, and how to love the way that the divine loves, which is freedom and non-attachment and so on and so forth. And so they're run in this space of really just extremes, and they really need to get this balance. So in their heart space, they're really trying to get this balance. They're almost, it's like they're recognizing their tendency to go to extremes, where it's like, I'm thinking about people that I know who are on this journey that will, one minute they love the person and then they get triggered by something and then they hate them. And it's like learning how to get in that space of balance, where your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings are not completely reliant on somebody else's behavior or what you think should be happening. And so then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Like the Knight of Pentacles is like the slowest moving card in the whole tarot. This is like literally like slow moving. This is not somebody that's going to come at you like fast and furious. But in reverse, it's even slower. It's almost like stuck. It's almost like I don't even know what to do. There's two options in front of me, and what path do I take? And so that's the energy that they're also with right now. It's just feeling kind of, even if they wanted to take a step forward, which they do, because we have this, we had a love offer earlier, the Knight of Cups. And so we had, there is this desire. It's like they want to, but they're moving real slow right now. Real slow. think molasses in winter snow. So there is some movement, right, in their heart space. It's like there's some things happening, but it's slow. It's like really, I mean, I'm like thinking about those like I watched this kid movie, Zootopia, where that like one of the characters was a sloth, and it was like painful watching this. It was like slow moving, and that's the energy that they're in right now. Is just like this sloth, slow, just not going to take any fast moves right now. It's almost a sense of it's not that they're lazy. That's not the thing. It's because it's this slow moving. It's not that they're lazy, and it's not that they don't care either. It's just that they're not ready to make any big moves. It's like there's this energy of kind of wanting to, but they might have been impulsive in the past. Okay, this may be a sign actually of maturity, of having matured. This might be a person that yeah, that's actually what's coming through right now very clearly, is that this slowness isn't about hesitation or indifference or laziness or carelessness like it was in the past. This is actually an indicator of their maturity. It's that they recognize that, maybe they did come to you before Fast and Furious, and they were like, here's all my cards, I'm throwing them on the table, and then, realize, oops, well, shit, I still have these other obligations, there's other things, and so then they'd pull their cards back, and so it's like they'd make an offer of love, and then you would connect, you'd have this, really great engagement, and then they'd be like, oops, just kidding, and pull it back. And it was like, because they were being impulsive and they were being kind of reckless. And then maybe at some point you said, you know what, this really hurts. Like, it hurts when you do this. If you're not ready to come to me with like a real offer and you're gonna, just dip in and dip out, then no more, I'm not interested. And that, like, don't come back to me until you're ready to make a real offer. And so it feels like what's happening right now is actually that they are taking that into account. They're really taking into account the fact that having done this before was really hurtful for you. And they've matured and they don't want to hurt you anymore. And so they're really being conscious and careful in their actions. So their slow movement is not about not caring. It's not because they don't want to, because they do want to come with this like fast and furious night of love, here, drink out of my cup kind of energy. But they also want to be sure that they're ready. That this time that they're ready, that they're not going to come to you with some like half-assed offer that's going to wilt in the sun or wilt in the light of day after the night of passion has gone. And so it actually feels really good why they're being so slow in their heart space. And then we have the Five of Cups. This is a card of nostalgia, not nostalgia, that's the Six of Cups. This card is about a person, an energy of something having been lost, and feeling like sadness and regret about something that has been lost, and not realizing that there's still something that remains. And so I'm almost getting the sense that maybe they've recently, like if your counterpart had a karmic partner and they ended that relationship, or they just recently left a job, or even if they went through a divorce and they're still working through the energies, okay? Because it takes a while. When I did dating and relationship coaching, not in this format, but when I was doing that before, one of the ground rules I would always say to people is like, you don't even really get involved with somebody and expect anything serious until they have been divorced for at least a year. And in that time, what they've done with that in that time is important too, because being divorced doesn't mean anything unless if you haven't really done the work around healing and understanding how you got in that situation and your role and your participation. So it could literally be that this is a person who's still just like going through the aftershock of some kind of breakup or something that has shifted in their life. Remember, the crisis is past. But it's still lingering. It's like mostly gone, but there's still some things that are going on. So I really get that this is a person in their heart space. They're really just trying to continue to work things through, and they're taking their time. You might think they don't care about you. You might think they're not thinking about you, but the reality is that they are. They really are thinking about you. But they're trying to take care of things first. They don't want to come back to you with some like whack-ass energy anymore. Because what I'm getting is that there's people the person that you're listening for, if this reading is resonating for you, the person that you're thinking about is literally taking their time to work through this energy. They don't want to bring that in to this connection. So what is their secret desire? So we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Moon. and we have Temperance in reverse. So the Two of Pentacles, if you see this, it's like two halves of a whole, which of course, you know, given that we're talking about twin flame and soulmates, I just think that it's not a coinky-dink, you know? So the Two of Pentacles is a card of balance, okay? It's a card of balance, unity. It's like, you think about this, I'm going to show you again. Like a butterfly needs to have both wings working together to fly. Also, if you notice that my nail is blue, it's because I did my kids' hair last night. And so I've got two little blue-headed kids and blue fingernails. But they're in the space, they really want balance. They want this to come together in balance. Right now, they feel, again, that it's just not quite there. Okay? It's just not quite there. They're in this space where this card in this particular deck is about somebody wanting something to come to a conclusion, and it's not happening yet. There's still some things, like they're wanting this ending of something so they can begin something new. They want to be in balance. So it's, again, I keep getting like it's like the message that they keep saying is like, I'm doing my work, okay? I'm doing what I can. I want these things. I want these energies, these beliefs, these ways of being that I've come to you in the past to go away. I don't want those anymore. It's just going to take a little bit more time to get there. Like, I am doing the work. I am doing what I need to. But there's definitely some more work that needs to be done. So that's just the energy that keeps coming through with this message. Overall is just really, I really feel actually very hopeful. The energies that are coming through are very hopeful. So we have the moon, and the moon is about, first of all, it's a feminine energy, you know, and so part of their secret desire is to be able to resolve and to come into conclusion, and then to come into this space of this nurturing kind of basking energy that also is intuitive, that it is imaginative. There's all of these, like, this mystery that they want to kind of, what I'm getting is they kind of want to dive into the mystery. Like their secret desire is like to surrender to this process, to this flow, to this love, and to go with it, just to flow into this mystery. You know, it's also about being in a space of peace. It's about if you look at this, it's like the moon. The moon is reflecting on these peaceful waters. There's this space of just really being, you know, at ease and tranquil, and really letting some things that have been in the dark. There are still some things that are in the dark, okay? And this is not, like, I'm not getting this in the sense of secrets at this point. Like, it doesn't feel like this is somebody that's deceiving or secrets. There are just some things that they're still exploring. And their secret desire is to really go into that space and to be able to explore and be in that mystery and not be afraid of the darkness, so to speak. Not wanting to hide from their shadow. Really being in that space of just being open and receptive to what is present. And then we have Temperance in reverse. Temperance is, as you might know, in the traditional tarot, it's like an angel with the water flowing, and it's flowing up and down. And it's another card of balance. This is a card of really being balanced, being grounded. This is, to me, the inner marriage between the divine masculine and divine feminine. And so it's literally saying, like, their secret desire is to get out of the state of being imbalanced. There has been that message has come through so many times in this reading about being out of balance, of being not unified. It's like they're not unified, and maybe you aren't either, because we're mirrors, right? We have to be honest with ourselves. Like, too many times people will focus on, you know, well, my counterpart's doing this, or he or she isn't doing that, or this, that, and the other. And it's like, that's all well and good, but you have no control over what another person is doing. You have no influence, truthfully, over what they're doing. You can tell them, you can advise them, you can give them hints, you can send them smoke signals, you know, whatever. But the truth of the matter is that, as the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And so there is this energy of where people need to, if your counterpart is out of balance and there are things that they aren't doing, you know, it's totally cool to be frustrated with it and to be annoyed for about, you know, give yourself some time. I'm not saying, like, you know, pretend like it's not real, but what I will say is that it's always important to look at like, okay, so this is what's happening with my connection. What is this telling me about me? What is this pointing to in me? If my counterpart is doing X, Y, and Z, is there something that I'm reflecting in that I need to pay attention to? There's no shame in that. In fact, that's how you're going to exponentially make this make yourself get to your healing, how you'll take leaps and bounds in your own healing, your own transformation, which of course will then reflect in your connection. You know, that's the end. The end of the day, what it comes down to is that it doesn't matter really what your counterpart is doing. It really doesn't. Like, I'm not saying that in a way to be dismissive in any way, shape, or form. It's like it doesn't. Like, clean up your own side of the street, right? What are you doing? How can you improve? What areas are you working on? Because if you focus on you and your own healing and your own transformation, it's definitely much better for the connection as a whole. And so this is a card of coming into balance again. This is somebody that, because it's upside down, because it's in reverse, it's imbalance. It's somebody who maybe tends to focus on other things or other people instead of doing their own work. And this is saying, like, in their secret desire space, they want to move through this energy to be able to flip this around and come into this state of balance. And again, Temperance is, to me, a twin flame confirmation card, because it is about that balance between the inner masculine and inner feminine. This can be about indicating that they do want to come into this spiritual union. And right now, they are focusing on themselves. They are cleaning up their backyard so that they can get to that state. So I'm going to move these aside, actually. And then we're going to look at just a couple final messages from some oracle decks. And the first one is, I just want to look at what is the shadow side of this connection right now. What's the shadow side? And this is the Lay Vampires deck by Lucy Cavendish. So Spirit, what is the shadow side of this connection right now? Wow, so we've got free will, and I feel like I want to pull. Call for help, beautiful. And burnt by the sun, very interesting, because that message came up earlier. So what the shadow side right now is free will. It's people exercising their own free will and giving people the freedom to have their own. Remember I said that earlier about love is about freedom. It's like recognizing and honoring everybody's free will. That, yeah, we want our counterparts to come forward and we want them to be with us and we want all of these things, right? That, of course we do. But we also have to honor and respect their free will. That may not be where they're at. And then you have your own free will, and so let's not pretend that everything is for preordained. Things may be, but there's also that space of giving space for the fact that it may not be preordained, because we do have free will, right? It's like, sure, there's a path that your soul sets out to and that your soul agrees to, but there's free will. People can take a different path. The shadow side is literally giving people the space, yourself, your counterpart, freaking humanity, whoever, the option to have free will, to exercise that, to give them the independence, to let go, to get into a space of non-attachment where you understand that everybody's free and you're free, and that you honor that space, even if your will is something else. So then we have the call for help. Being that this is in the shadow side, this is telling me that people are being way too self-reliant. This is telling me that people are not looking to the divine to get the support and the help that they need. This is people who are like trying to go about things their own way, on their own terms, thinking that they can do it on their own. This is, and you can, I guess you can, right? But like I said, I'm not a fan of Dr. Phil, but one of his statements, he always makes me laugh when he says it, is, how's that working out for you? Like, you've been doing the same thing for the longest time, right? And this can be you, this can be your counterpart, this can be any of us. Been trying to do the same thing for a long time and it's never helped, and things are still the same or things are changing. Well, at what point do you say, like, if I could have solved this problem on my own by now, I would have done it, right? there's nothing wrong with admitting that. There's nothing wrong with saying, like, clearly this is a problem that's bigger than me and something I can't do on my own. This is people, for instance, like I know people who have spent years and years and years are trying to release the same, 10 pounds, same 20 pounds, and then don't ever do it. Like literally will do the same thing. Like, I'm going to start a diet on Monday, and then within 10 days they're right back to where they were, and then they're frustrated. And I'm like, why don't you hire, like, join Weight Watchers or Jenny, whatever those things are. Do something different. Like, don't do what you've always done. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. Do something different. And so this is what this is saying, is that there are people that are resisting asking for help. This could be just resisting going into therapy. It could be resisting going, whatever that might be. It could even just be resisting, I'm not saying just, but it could be resisting taking care of things like praying and asking your angels and calling upon your guides and your counsel and relying on higher wisdom. That could be that too. And that's definitely something that is in the shadow side. And then we've got burnt by the sun. That message came through earlier in the beginning, the very current energy was about somebody who's really, really focused on the material, to the kind of the ego. If I have the biggest house on the block, if I make, a shit ton of money, then maybe it will cover up this hole in my soul. And that's not what's happening. That's not what's going to happen. That's why it's in the shadow. So what will happen is that ambition, that, relentless drive to achieve and to become is actually going to result in burnout. It's going to result in somebody just feeling like I've reached too far, done too much, my ambition has burned me out, and now I'm exhausted. And so this is, what I'm really getting is that somebody, both people, whoever, you'll know if this is a message for you, really needs to get in the space of recognizing that there's not enough doing in the world that can fill a void in your soul, in your heart. You can, win a Pulitzer Prize. You can, if you look at celebrities and that have, famous people that have been, extremely wealthy, extremely famous, they have pretty much, quote unquote, everything that you think you'd want, and then they commit suicide, or they end up drug addicted and miserable. And it tells you that having everything isn't necessarily going to fix anything, if that makes sense. And so I'm being very cautious in how I'm saying this, because I don't want to shame anybody for feeling, that maybe something outside of you can medicate, because I get it, But this is literally saying, like, this is the shadow side, is that won't happen. And somebody, you can end up really burned out doing that, pursuing the wrong things. That emptiness that people feel inside, that sadness, that loneliness, that thing that you want to be filled so desperately, that's the space that the divine is supposed to fill. And so open that space up and let, the divine come rushing into that vacuum of your soul. And that can really help in this situation. Of course, that isn't the answer if you are literally like, have clinical depression or something along those lines. Then of course you need to, seek out professional mental health care. But what I'm talking about is like that soul ache that wants that is longing for something bigger. All the money in the world, fame, accolades isn't going to fill that. It's only going to be filled by the divine. So, and intense messages there. And so I'm going to pull some cards from the Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. Just some messages. What is it that they want you to know right now? By the way, in the background, I have a track on that's about, it's a law of attraction meditation track. And so it's been playing in your subconscious this whole time, clearing out old patterning. So what messages, okay? What messages does your counterpart, the person that you're listening for, want you to know? Look at that. We've got the moon again. So we've got moon tree, spiritual growth, and the mystic. Very interesting messages. So the moon tree, I want to look at the book for this one because I have my own interpretation, but I want to see what the book says. It says, an old idea resurfaces. Conditions are now right. The moon is in alignment with your heavenly star. So this to me, it also talks about marriage. It says this card also represents a marriage of some kind. The marriage of heaven and earth, the physical and the spiritual. I'm telling you guys, this is about coming together, this union that I was talking about, inner masculine and feminine. This is what this card is talking about. And it also, because it says an old idea resurfaces, what this is saying to me is that somebody from the past is coming back. Somebody from your past is coming back. I don't know when. This doesn't give me any indication of time frame, but somebody that you have been connected with in the past is going to come back around. But right now, and they're going to come back around with this, this idea of the either physical marriage, or it's going to be, could be really an offer of like a spiritual union. But right now is the time of spiritual growth. That's what's happening right now. This is why if you're in separation, which you probably are if you're listening to this message, is why this is happening. It's a time of spiritual growth. You are supposed to be growing right now. This is a time literally dedicated specifically to your spiritual growth. If you're not, committed to that path, really get on it. Okay, do whatever it is that is right for you, whatever your spiritual practice is, but commit to something, because that is what this time is for. And the faster that you commit to it, the more that you dedicate yourself to it, the sooner that you're going to bring about and attract the things that you want to attract. And so this card, the Mystic, is literally about tuning into your own inner mystic. It's like, you've always had, probably most people that are on this journey have some kind of intuitive, psychic kind of energy. And maybe you've denied it, maybe you haven't listened to it. This time, the message for them, and literally I'm getting, is to listen, because their inner mystic is waking up too. And so there's like this, telepathic communications. If you're doing your mystic work and they're doing their mystic work, it's like integrate those abilities into your everyday life so that you can learn how to manifest and attract the things that you want to attract in like record time. Because that's what is literally what is ahead. That's what's happening, is that this spiritual growth, all of this work that's happening is helping to get to this space of being able to create the life that you want, to be able to shifting those paradigms. Because it isn't about our own, selfish ambitions and happiness. That is definitely something that the divine is concerned with. Sure, don't think that your happiness is not a consideration, but being called onto a twin flame journey is about being called into service for humanity. And so it's bigger than us. It's bigger than just our own selfish desires being fulfilled. It's bigger than our own like romantic connections. And that's not that that's unimportant, but the bigger piece is about literally shifting consciousness and bringing in a new paradigm for how to be in this world. And the sooner that we can get into that space, the sooner that we'll be able to really shift the consciousness of this planet and help to heal the breaches in humanity. So this is your reading for this week. I hope that it has helped. Please let me know, or not this week because I've already done a couple, but this is your reading for today. So I hope that this message helps. Please let me know if you have any questions, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and book your private readings. Take care. Bye-bye.